HICSA, the hot seat. Again, this session has no filters, just candid conversation, and we have Manav moderating this session. Joining him on stage are Mr. Ajay Bakaya, Chairman, Sarovar Hotels, Director, Louvre Hotels, India, Mr. Anuraag Bhatnagar, Chief Executive Officer, the Leela Palaces Hotels and Resorts, Mr. K.B. Kachru, Chairman, Radisson Hotel Group, South Asia, and Mr. Kiran Andicot, Senior Vice President, South Asia, Marriott International. Please give them a round of applause.
Anywhere?
Anywhere.
Thanks.
I'm stuck in the middle. Wherever you want. Shall we sit where? Ajay. Good afternoon. This is going to be a tough act to follow. Maybe Suhani should have been doing the moderation. Then we would have got all the answers we wanted, right? It's going to be a tough act. All right, gentlemen. Welcome to the last session of the day. It's kind of boring, right, to have me talk now. It's like, how do you bring down the levels? Look, how about we just start simply, right? Ajay, just tell us a little bit about your role and your portfolio. We get back to business now, right?
Can you hear?
Sure. I'm the...
You can't hear?
Yeah, it's not very clear, Manav, if you can just hear.
Okay. I said, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm sitting next to you. I'm the chief dishwasher for Sarovar Hotels. I've been doing that job for 30 years. And I've been in the hotel business for 48 years, so it's the only business I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anuraag, Chief Executive Officer for Leela Palaces, Hotels and Resorts.
Hi, I'm K.B. Kachru, work for Radisson Hotels Group. Have been around here for quite a while. Thank you.
We're having problems with hearing each other, so maybe the mics are just, sorry. Kiran?
Hi everyone, I'm Kiran Andicot. I represent Marriott International.
Great. So, do you guys have 500 rupee notes? No, I'm just kidding. I want you to use one word that, how would your team describe you? One word as if it was your appraisal, but maybe in your staff corridors, what is that one word they would use for Ajay Bakaya?
Boring.
Boring.
One word to describe me?
Yes.
Optimistic.
Optimistic. Mr. Kachru?
Never ever give up.
That's more than one word, but Kiran?
That's an interesting one. I hope they think I'm collaborative, but I think they would say funny.
One word, one word.
Either collaborative or funny, or
Okay.
funnily collaborative.
Right. So Kiran, the world is on fire, at least till 24 hours, and I haven't seen the news if it's still holding or not, but you're still building hotels. Why?
Sorry, I didn't get, it's not,
I
the voice
think
is not coming
there's
through.
an echo problem. We can't hear you here.
The world is on fire. Can you hear me?
The world is on fire. Maybe you can't hear me because of that. But why is Marriott still building hotels?
Well, that's because the world is on fire now. It's just the short term. In the longer term, we've seen the impact of COVID and how travel changes things. So we are building hotels not for now, but for the future.
Right. Mr. Kachru, you just announced a couple of 100 hotels that you're going to grow in the next few years. Again, you think that the market is big enough to absorb all these hotels?
Sorry, the voice is echoing a bit, but I get it. The number of hotels we have announced, I'm not getting into numbers. I think our focus is to get into every segment, in every category, within the 10 brands we have. And we have announced close to 500 hotels by 2030. And I think we're pursuing that, and we're almost there in terms of our strategy and a follow-up.
Right. Anuraag, how about you? I know you're not building 100 hotels, but You're obviously adding Kachru recently. You did something in Dubai. I think you've done something in Kashmir. So
Our focus has always been on luxury, and it's a singular focus. That's the segment that we understand. That's the segment that we want to scale and grow mindfully. So we have 24 hotels, out of which 14 are operational right now, and the rest are at various stages of development. What we are pursuing is where the guests are going today. As our consumers are chasing experiences, evolving into luxury escapes and programming, and that's where we are coming up, from Agra to Srinagar, Ranthambore, Bandhavgarh, Ayodhya, and of course, recently in the Middle East, in Dubai.
yeah, I don't know if it was me or maybe I'll walk up and down. Sorry about that because this is something new. Maybe Sohani did something so that I needed to walk up and down a little bit more. So I have a question, Ajay. We signed so many hotels. What do you think is the washout? Look, so when Hilton announces 200 hotels or Marriott announces 100 hotels, what do you think is the typical washout for hotels in India?
I think the honest truth is that we've got into a whole lot of bullshit. And it's just not fashionable to announce anything less than 100 hotels. Even if God was to start building hotels in India, you can't do 100 in 5 years, honestly. Nobody can. We've heard a lot of these announcements over the last 20 years. None of them have happened. And also, we're now including pregnancies. So, you know, you're saying, I operate so much, but I have so many signed up, which is fine. It's not false. But the question is, your growth is going to follow a pattern that you followed in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years and extrapolate it. It can't be dramatically different. So today, we run 150 hotels, but from yesterday, I said, hello, why should I be the only joker who's only talking of operational hotels? So I'm saying 270 hotels. I've got so many in the pipeline. I think it's good to be ambitious. It's also good to be real and be real to your audience, whether it's owners, whether it's developers. Nobody out there is stupid. And it takes a lot to build a hotel in this country, even if you have all the money. To go acquire land, identify land, get all your permissions, then get permissions to operate, it's a tough task. And if there are hotel owners sitting here, they'll understand much better what it takes to build a hotel. So I think those numbers are fantastic. Is there a demand for all these numbers? Absolutely. Will they happen? I'm not so sure.
Right. Anyone else? Kiran, you've been announcing hotels as well. You're currently the largest or the second largest. I don't know, it keeps changing depending on what you guys announce. So what do you think is the washout rate?
So when you say washout, there are two things, right? When deals get signed, some of them just don't get built. And the other thing is there are projects that get stuck during construction. And we've seen of the former that percentage has come down after COVID. So whatever we are signing these days, the chances that they will open are higher than what we saw pre-COVID. That shift has happened. Earlier it used to be, I would say 30% of the deals that we signed never saw the light of day. I would think now that percentage has gone down to say around 10%.
So you think more hotels are getting built now than they were maybe a decade ago?
True, yeah. Because initially, probably when you had your first HICSA conference, there were big announcements and there were regional players, in the sense there were players operating across different markets. Whereas now we are seeing local developers in their own markets developing hotels. They know the system, they've got the approvals. So those deals are more real than the big announcements that were made in the pre-COVID era.
Right. I'm not going to go ahead, sir.
I think things are evolving, changing at the same time. Previous experience prior to COVID, there was comparatively lesser washout, 15 to 20%. I'm talking about our own company. But I feel that we're moving from pure HNI investments, which used to be the key factor for development for all of us, because in India, institutional funding was practically not there 15, 20 years back. Things are changing, funds are coming, there are institutional investors. I think the washout would be little more, not because of institutional investors, but HNI funding, I think, would be comparatively lesser. There would be big players getting more and more involved, which is good news for all of us.
Right. Anuraag, I'm not...
Maybe, but I want to chime in here. I
Okay.
think, because in our case, our business model is of owner-operator. We own the brand, and we also owners of assets. So in our case, the washout would be zero. We are putting our capital to work. We are very mindful of how we put our capital and what kind of yields are we looking at. Plus, even when it's management contracts, we are very sure of our partnerships and their commitment to the asset as well as to the luxury programming. So I would say it's not just about making announcements, it's about ensuring that everything that you announce comes off ground and the way that you want it to come off ground.
Right. Let's talk about leadership, because I think that's the title. Anuraag, who's the best leader you've ever worked for? And why, maybe?
And why, of course, for all the right qualities. Like, I think over my journey over the last over 30 years, I have evolved as a student of hospitality, where I have had an opportunity to work directly with Mr. P.R.S. Oberoi. I didn't understand him that much then than I did today. What he did, why he was so obsessive about quality and detail. When I moved on to further in life, when I was in Starwood, I learned a lot from my leaders in Starwood about how each brand is uniquely positioned and how you can bring each brand to life. When I worked in Marriott, it was about processes. It's about revenue management.
Boss, I'm not taking a CV. I'm not trying to find your job.
I was thinking.
एक ही पूछा था यार.
एक ही पूछा था.
But we'll move on to Ajay.
Yeah.
आपका CV हम बाद में कर देंगे search bit. I think Leela is happy with you, sir.
Yeah.
Ajay?
Rai Bahadur Mohan Singh Oberoi, without any doubt.
Rai Bahadur.
Two reasons. You could go with him as a young manager with what you thought was the most complicated problem, and he'd give you a straightforward, simple, one-sentence answer which made a lot of sense. Secondly, every time you met him, you came out feeling taller. Feeling taller and bigger.
Taller and bigger.
He always had that impact on you, that you walked out feeling that much more richer, and you had the sense that somebody was always supporting you.
Ajay, you're quite tall, so obviously it's helped you get you where you are. Mr. K.B. Kachru, it'll be interesting to hear from you as to who...
You know, I had many mentors, but since you say you identify one as such, when I was in the government sector, and I was in awe of a gentleman, which I'm sure a lot of you would know, was S.K. Mishra, who was later Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister. He was my boss. And, he taught me one little thing. He says, if you have to be a leader, you ought to be like a tea bag. And you must ensure when to put that tea bag in real hot water. Because when the tea bag gets the right hot water in it, it gives you the right flavor, it gives you the right color. So if you can't bear that heat, you have to get out of it. So one little lesson which I tell my colleagues that, if you can't, like we say in our industry, that, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, So S.K. Mishra was one of those who stood by his people and dirtied his own hands to teach.
Right. Kiran?
For me, it would be Ani Sorensen for the impact he's had on Marriott as a company and India specifically.
Right. So, Kiran, I'll stay with you. What leadership advice you give everyone else, but you struggle to give, struggle to follow it yourself?
Time management with emails.
At least you're honest. Mr. Kachru, any advice you give to others, but you yourself struggle to...
I think we all have to realize we are all dispensable. Your mindset has to be right. And you have to empower your people. That's leadership. And don't push yourself over your team. Your team can take you where you are today. You have to bear that in mind.
Right. Anuraag?
I think similar like Kiran, work-life integration, but I struggle with it myself. But I always encourage people to at least try to navigate their life so that they don't burn out.
Ajay?
Be ruthless to mediocrity.
Okay.
Tough act to follow.
Tough act to follow.
But the most sensible thing in business when you're a leader.
Let's let's make this a little bit more fun. Ajay, if you had an opportunity to poach people from any of the companies that are sitting on the stage, who would be your first choice?
On stage?
Yes, only on stage.
Marriott.
Marriott, okay. Anuraag?
Marriott.
Marriott. KV?
Overall,
No, only the people on stage.
okay, I would say Marriott.
Marriott, better watch out. Well, it's a compliment in many ways, right?
I'll take
Kiran,
that.
how about you?
Can I say all three of them? So that the circle continues then.
You could probably. You could probably. What is your opinion on, the future? How about an AI robot as the general manager of a hotel?
Not going to happen.
You don't believe that will happen?
Not as the general manager of the hotel. That role cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence. That's, from that role handles, in our world, the owners, the associate, and the guest. That's real human connection. That cannot be replaced.
Okay. Anyone has a different opinion?
I don't think it's going to happen ever.
I think it will happen tomorrow in something like Scandinavia, not in India for a long time to come, but countries which really don't have people, and where people are not so tuned into people interaction.
Anuraag, what do you think?
General manager, never.
Never?
Never, because at least not in our lifetimes. Maybe we are wrong, but then I don't see that happening because simply the human insights, the intuitive intelligence and the emotional quotient and the empathy that's required and also the composure and the compassion that's required, this can never be expected from an AI model.
You build a hotel tomorrow on Everest Base Camp. You build a hotel tomorrow on the moon. Where the hell are people going to be available? Yeah?
Who in the audience thinks that AI GMs could be there in the future? Just raise your hands. How many? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's maybe 4 or 5%, but I actually do believe that with what we're doing with talent. I mean, it may not happen at the Ritz-Carlton in Hawaii, but maybe it could happen with a Fairfield Marriott or a Park Plaza or something. But
Definitely will make the owner approval of the GM much easier then.
right, model.
I like it.
There you go. See, and Marriott is so process-driven. You guys should be leading that charge, actually, right? This should
And
be
bring
a
your
process
comp and win
thing,
cost down, yeah?
Model 2.5, 8,
Right.
or whatever it is.
No, we'll have to then give 3 AI different versions to give a choice, right? Contractually, you're supposed to give 3 choices. So AI 2.0 and 3.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And you can upgrade it and you can charge more to central services. Actually, that could be a great session to do in the future, right? To do a session on AI GMs. That's interesting, that subject. So, one of the challenges is that we often train the best talent, right? All of you guys often train the best talent in the world. Then we watch them go to the airlines, go to the retail, go to startups. What is it that we are not fixing?
Well, we're not fixing ourselves.
You're not fixing yourself?
In any case, you can't hold everyone back, and you should not. That would be a wrong formula also. So it's good to have some people move on in life and find what they're happier with. But we need to fix ourselves. We need to fix the environment.
And how do you fix the environment?
Ask them what they want. Be more understanding.
They want more money, though.
Don't decide. For sure they do. But don't decide. They want to buy. They want more money, and all of us do. They also want to buy into a story. And is your story compelling enough to hold a certain number of people?
Right. Anyone else?
I think we have to fix a couple of things, as Ajay said, it's right. First of all, we have to pay well at the entry level. We have to create a path for their growth. I don't think most of the industry is ready to focus a lot more. They need to do a lot more in career pathing for people who work in their teams. Unless that happens, people will start moving, like you said, they're going to retail, they're going to banks, they're going to credit card companies. They will go. And today's Gen Z, I mean, they don't mind changing jobs. 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. I mean, during earlier days, I'm talking about 20 years back, you valued a person how long he stayed with you.
The survey that I did yesterday was all about that.
Yeah.
Length of...
How long he or she stayed with the company, and that was one of the criteria. Yeah, this person is right. But these days, that's no longer the criteria. They want to see their own growth, what is the kind of empowerment they'll have to carry on with their jobs. If they feel that, you know, this leader of mine is a decision maker, he's not a culture guide, he's not giving empowerment, he's just issuing instructions, and he doesn't want to listen, I think you will have this problem.
Right. Anuraag, getting back to Leela, do you see yourselves entering more? You just done that you just entered that market. Do you see yourself doing more luxury boutique projects? Because I think of Leela and I always think of the big box, mice, big hotels.
Right. No, absolutely. If you look at our current pipeline as well, in addition to the Kurg asset, we are coming up with the Leela in Srinagar, which is on the Dal Lake. We are coming up in Ayodhya, which is on Saryu, 99 Keys. And then 2 wildlife resorts in Ranthambore and Bhatnagar. And even the pipeline that we currently are evaluating is also tailored towards a destination that can offer various experiences on the luxury side and programming, all from driving distances from major cities, like 4 to 5 hours from major cities, have a large land parcel and large ecosystem where you can really focus on creating unique itineraries over 2 or 3 nights at the minimum. So yes, that's a direction because that's where the segment is growing. Every year, if you see from your reports itself, it's a high double-digit growth in terms of luxury consumption. People are taking breaks more often. They're willing to spend on, invest more on experiences. So that's what we are investing on.
Right. And similarly to that, you also just announced an acquisition in Middle East, in Dubai,
That's
right?
Yeah.
That's your first international foray.
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So it's an amazing asset right on Palm Beach, Jumeirah. It's got 23 acres of land parcel, almost 1 kilometer of beachfront.
How boutique is that?
It's a large resort. It does a high occupancy. It's currently managed by another operator, but we are 25% owners of that asset. And it's a very busy hotel on an amazing strip. And I'm sure with the current geopolitical situation being whatever it is, but in future, in the foreseeable future, that's again a very hard to access kind of a destination. It's got amazing F&B venues and a large room inventory and residences. So we are very, very excited about that project, A, because of the location that it has, the market it's in, and plus the kind of networking impact it creates for the rest of the brand.
Right. Ajay, I've heard you say you flagged highway hotels as a high growth segment. And everyone else is now chasing that same segment, highway kind of thing. How long before that growth gets congested?
It's not very congested, and quite honestly, we've taken a decision now to back away from the highways.
You're backing away from it. Why is that?
I tell you, strictly as a management company, it works for many other formats. But a lot of these places, the Sonipats, the Panipats, sorry, I'm from the north, the Saharanpurs, you cannot bring business to these hotels, other than for whatever your name stands for. But you can't actually physically bring in a lot of business, a lot of reservations, because it's all largely local. These are strongly driven by weddings, even though they're highways, but they're in townships with all local populations, which means local business, which means the temptation of owners to go in for cash and a lot of the other stuff. So 6 months down the line, you're sitting across the table and the owner is saying to me, but look, what are you doing for me? All this I could do myself. So we are getting away, but I think if there are investors looking at that opportunity, it's a fantastic opportunity. There's great returns, there's great demand, there's great local demand.
Right.
Are you allowed to go back to the previous question, or is it
Sure.
more?
What do you want to say?
So I want to say, you said, what can we do to get more people in the business? Silicon Valley produces 90% of the world's innovation. There is the whole atmosphere to produce innovation. India produces the majority of the world's religious and spiritual readers. Good and bad, both. But between the Himalayas and our mythology and thousands of years, and the Ganges and everything else, it has that. We have created over the years an environment which ranged from exploitation to in the best case scenario, autocratic. We are still particularly unkind to the youngsters who are starting off in the business. Can we change that environment by entry level paying more, especially these college kids and all trainees that come there. They get the first look at a hotel and say, this is the last thing I want to be in. Who wants to do this? Can we be more understanding of social stuff and social demands on other people's time as much as we have on the guest time? Can we collectively create an environment where somebody says, this can be fun? Can we have everybody individually contributing into a company? If we can do all of those things, or even some of those things, we'll have a lot more people keen to join the industry.
Right. Mr. Kachru, when you interview someone, over the years you've had a good career, what is that one thing that you look at, that one trait that you look at when you're hiring someone, which has worked for you the last 30 plus years?
When you're interviewing, it really depends on which level you are interviewing for. Certain levels, I think humility is something which in our business, I feel should be given top priority. And there are certain things which are essential. It's like integrity. I mean, gone are the days, I'm sorry I'm going back since you said so many years being here. But there was a time, if somebody said my time is up and I'm going home, I put in 8 to 10 hours of duty, so you felt that he or she is not the right person. They have to spend. And today, it's normal, they can tell you, no, time is up, we're going. So as leadership, I think we also need to understand, I would, like Manav asked, for me, integrity, humility comes first before anything else.
I agree. Kiran, you have stepped into a new role. Who do you call when that decision is hard? Who are you calling?
Well, I discuss it with the team. I've got a great team.
That's a lot of calls, and maybe that's why you're not finding time to respond to emails.
Maybe
but
because
that one person that you would call?
I haven't had to call anybody so far, touch wood. I've got a great team. I've got Arun, Hemant, and Nikita who handle the operations, and Juhi in development. So I talk to...
That sounds like a Marriott SOP. How to respond? I'm just kidding. But you've been in the role, I think, for 6 months or a roundabout. What's the one thing that has really surprised you?
Well, that's an interesting one. So I always knew that Marriott was process-driven. We are laser-focused on bottom line. But when I transitioned to this side, I saw proof of that, right? I'm not trying to sell Marriott, but the amount of time the team invests in just performance, that's something which I was aware of, but to go through it myself every month was something which was refreshing. And it kind of validated what I was selling all these years.
Right. Ajay, 30, 35, I don't know how many years in the industry?
48.
40 years.
48.
48. Wow. You've built Sarovar over the last 30 years. Maybe you've been in the business longer. What's next for Ajay, the leader? apart from your cycling, and which I think you do even now every Sunday?
Yep. Creating something special. Creating something special.
What's that going to be?
A nice resort.
A new resort, right? With an AI GM, maybe? Maybe
no,
not.
I'll stay with humans for the time being.
Right. Let's see. Mr. Kachru, you have built, everything that you have built has been built you've built hotels, you have built institutions, you have built relationships. What do you wish you had done differently to any of this? Would you have done anything differently?
Yes, I would have invested in building more assets.
Invested in building more assets?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Let's lighten up the mood. Ajay, I'm going to ask you to do your own performance review. One word.
Consistent.
Consistent. Anuraag?
On target.
On target. Mr. Kachru?
I would again say I wouldn't give up.
Won't give up. More than one word, but Kiran?
Balanced scorecard.
What is that? Not the Raj card. Okay. Kiran, the deal that got away, one word. Or one sentence.
Blessing in disguise. Oh, sorry.
One word, one sentence.
Blessing in disguise.
The deal that got away, sorry?
You said a deal that got away?
Yeah,
I
okay.
would say blessing in disguise.
Mr. Kachru?
You want me to name the deal or?
You can name the deal too.
No, I wouldn't like to do that, but I regret
Okay.
few deals which we should have got.
Anuraag?
Learnings.
Learnings. Ajay?
Move on.
Move on.
Move on.
Okay. The merger that never happened, one word.
That's life.
And it doesn't have to be yours. It could be
That's life.
That's life?
That's life.
Anuraag?
Again, I would say opportunities.
Mr. Kachru?
Move on.
Move on. Kiran?
It wasn't the right time. Yeah.
Right. And, your biggest mistake this decade?
Wow, I can't think a biggest mistake this decade.
Yeah.
Personally or professionally?
We can get Shohani back and then we can really have it for the personal part, but maybe we'll keep it to professional. We can come back to you.
Yeah,
if you need more time to think.
Yeah.
I know it's not part of the process-driven that
Right.
Marriott doesn't make mistakes. That could have been.
No, that's
good.
not true. We make a lot of mistakes. It's what we
Right.
do after that matters. But yeah.
Mr. Kachru, anything you regret? The biggest mistake you made this decade?
I should have had more fun.
Have more fun. Anuraag,
I shouldn't have let go.
you shouldn't have let go what of your previous job or
No. Well, I think a particular deal.
right? Ajay, how about you?
Not letting a senior underperformer go.
Right. Let's see what I have. I'm going to soon run. Let's stick with something. Let's do one more.
Yeah.
Retirement. One word. What does that mean to you?
What does that word mean? What is that word?
Perfect. I will not come to Anuraag, but Mr. Kachru,
I've been trying very hard to retire.
that is true. That is true. Okay, Kiran, let's talk about something else. Like, let's talk about some business because we've had some fun. Owners want return, which is something that is very up there for Marriott. Operators want standard, which is what Marriott always wants. And the guest wants experience. When those three collide, whose call is it?
Well, ideally, they should collide because one leads to the other. And I would put in the associate in that mix because it's through the associate you would take care of the guest and then hopefully get the right returns for the owners. But if things collide, I would say ultimately it would have to be the owner's asset, right? Because we are in the business of making profits. So you'll have to find that balance there.
Right. Mr. Kachru, you've been part of a lot of government bodies. I think you're very involved with HAI and other business bodies right now. We've got government boards, you've got industry boards, you've got advisory roles. But we find that even today, the government and many of these are all pulling in different directions. How do you kind of bring it together?
I think our biggest challenge has been government is really not acknowledging what is wrong and what needs to be done. I think unless you acknowledge what is wrong with you, you can never correct it. Fortunately, this setup, our current Minister for Tourism is really good, and we have some good bureaucrats who understand what needs to be done, but there were multiple bodies with different laundry lists going to the government. What in the last 3 or 4 years, different key organizations, including associations, CII, FICCI, HAI, everybody has collaborated together to have a wish list, and we are scanning it as a process every few months to see what is done and what is being processed. Let me tell you, 18 states have already declared tourism as an industry, which never happened. The word tourism was never mentioned in the first five-year plan. The word didn't exist. It has started happening. These bodies, although it's not filtering down, generally the feeling is they're going in different directions. But let me assure you, industry and the government is working together, and all of us are, at least people who are here, on different bodies together, and we have one wish list together, and government actually is doing, and implementation, execution is a problem, Manav, at the moment. Some states have taken, like Radisson, for example. I must compliment Radisson, how they are executing, and benefits are going to the stakeholders, people who are invested in those states. So it's actually growing. UP is doing it, Maharashtra is doing it. So the bottom line is that we are moving. Things have started happening. I mean, who would have thought 15 years back the kind of highways you see everywhere now coming up? Airports, airlines, number of planes coming in. So it's happening. It'll not happen in a very short period, but as long as we are in the right direction, I think we will achieve our objective.
Right. Let's have some fun, and then if we have some time, we'll ask the audience to put up, ask for questions for the audience. I gave each and one of you a little paddle, and if you notice, it's got...
I don't have it.
You don't have one?
Yeah.
You do. It has a red and a green, and I'm assuming that you know what a red and green is. I'm not doing a mental act here, so it stands for, red stands for you don't agree, and green stands for you agree.
The other way around. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm going to ask one word, or I'm going to say a sentence, and I'm going to ask you whether you believe in it or you don't believe in it. Let's start. Airbnb. Airbnb. Okay, so 3 of you agree, and 1 of you don't agree in Airbnb. Anuraag, have you ever stayed at an Airbnb?
Yes, that's why I don't agree with this.
Right, fair enough. Branded residences. All right, so we've got that, and that session is getting more and more popular. You're signing branded residences.
That's right.
You're signing branded residences. I think Radisson,
Well,
I know we
quickly.
signed with you in Middle East, so
Yes.
Ajay, that's an area
We
you
signed
get
already.
into?
Yep.
Okay. This is going to be interesting. Your own brand's Instagram page. All right. Okay. What do you believe of 24-hour check-in?
I would take it.
Okay. So just hold that. Would you do 24-hour check-in?
Selectively, yes.
Do you have any hotel in India doing 24-hour check-in?
For our ambassador tier guests.
Sorry?
For the ambassador tier guests, yes, that's
Yeah,
something
but
we're
that's
looking-
like 0.0. Even I'm not that level, yaar. Come on. Okay, but Anuraag, that's interesting that, you know, being from luxury, you don't believe in a 24-hour check-in.
No, I think we already do enough and we continue to do a lot more. We need to have a certain system and an ecosystem. So I don't believe in 24-hour check-in.
And
We've been offering it since the last 15 years.
you have been offering it. So I can check in at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely. Yep.
But I do have to pay for the previous
No,
night?
you don't. 24 hours means 24 hours.
Okay. What about, and I'm not taking this from Kapil Chopra, what about anytime breakfast? Anytime breakfast? No, good. Kiran, do you offer anytime
No,
breakfast?
we don't, but I love the idea.
I think you're talking about what we think should be done. and
That's right,
Yeah,
that's right.
That's why. We're not doing it at the moment.
But then, you know,
Yeah.
but if you've got 3 of you who are running these companies, should you not be getting it done?
No, why?
Why?
You can't get everything done for everyone.
Yeah.
Why? You're batty if you want breakfast at 7 in the night. Behave yourself.
Okay.
The chef's got other things to do in the kitchen except for preparing breakfast. Come on. Man.
So, you didn't
Ask your
agree-
wife for breakfast at 7 in the
Sorry?
evening. Ask your wife for breakfast at 7 in the evening. See what she says.
The good thing is I don't eat breakfast, so my wife doesn't care whether.
No trouble at all.
All right. Robot butlers. Robot butlers. So 2 of you said yes. You don't think that butler will one day become a GM, but
Yeah, maybe it can be programmed.
But you actually did. You actually said you
Yeah.
could become. But you don't think robot butlers can be there? Because we're already beginning to see that in some parts of the world. Not necessarily as good as they should be, but you don't think in 10 years or 5 years? But that's your belief that they shouldn't be there.
I definitely think they shouldn't be there. It just robs you of that human interaction. It doesn't work in my opinion.
And I can add, I mean, it's a very high-touch business, especially on the luxury hospitality.
Sure.
So,
Guys, sorry.
So-
In an
so-
Instagrammable world, people love the stuff. We're doing cappuccinos, we're doing welcome drinks, we're doing banquet snack service, ice service in a couple of hotels. People love it. Does it replace a human being? No, it's adding on a little bit to your cost, but they absolutely love the concept. And why not?
Right. Next one. All-inclusive resorts. Okay, so 3 of you would do all-inclusive resorts. What about the tipping culture in India? Yes? No? Bad? Mr. Kachru, you're still thinking about it.
No, I'm not thinking about it. The reason why I'm not certain how to present here, I think tipping culture in India is not as bad as what it is all over the world, particularly the Western world. Here, there's a lot more gratitude, even the staff has. And we must actually compliment them. There may be some isolated cases. So I think tipping thing is really fair here as far as India is concerned. And even government is promoting that you can actually give tips if you want to give, otherwise there's no obligation. But
Right.
if you go to North America, if you don't tip, they will curse you and they will tell you, you know, what the hell are you doing here?
Right, right. So we have 3 or 4 more, and then I'll take some audience questions. Your own hotel's buffet, yes or no?
I think yes for our segment, but luxury.
Your own hotel, sir?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. But I appreciate the honesty because it depends, right? Because 2 of you believe that your own buffet is not good
sorry.
enough.
It was the other way around.
Oh, sorry?
It's supposed to be the other way
No,
around.
no, you picked red, so we're not coming to the Sarovar
Move on.
Okay, so you have to think, before you...
I know. Tough job.
How about your own loyalty program?
I think
Right. Good. You don't have one or getting into one?
We're working on it. Yeah.
Right. I can see the questions are coming up. Okay, this one could be embarrassing for us. Consultants. There you go.
yeah, Manav.
I used to
May
be
we
one.
paid for this.
Sorry? Well, Kiran, Kiran used to work with me, so. The last one which I have.
I mean, you need some people to consult who can tell you exactly what you already knew, who can tell you what we are not doing, what we already knew. So
yeah,
you need
and he can charge you for it, right?
And they can charge
Makes
you
you
for
feel
it.
good, right? Comes into your budget. The last one, Hotelivate. There you go. I would have. But look, let's take some questions from the audience, right? If you can put the questions up so that we can see. Let's take the third one. A brand outside your portfolio that you love. Ajay?
Citizen M.
Citizen M. Isn't that now part of Marriott?
It is.
The brand is, yeah, that's right.
Okay. By the way, I don't like that at all. But sorry, I've had a bad few stays there.
Capella.
Capella?
Capella Hotels, yeah.
Mr. Kachru?
Domestic and international different.
Sure. Give me 2 answers then.
Outside our brand, I love Taj.
Taj.
Yeah, I love Taj because of its spread and what they're doing. And internationally, I would go with Marriott.
Okay.
Oberoi.
Oberoi. All right. Let's look at some of the other questions. Kiran, if you were to start in your career today, which brand would you like your first job to be with?
Marriott.
Marriott.
Yeah.
And where did you start? Taj. Oberoi.
Oberoi, yeah.
Oberois. There you go. But you said you love the Oberois.
I do. Yeah.
So, Ajay?
Oberoi.
Oberois. Anuraag?
I'll probably join the Leela Leadership Development Program if I get selected.
Now you're marketing your...
No, I mean, the selection process is very
Now you're
tough.
marketing, yeah. Dilip is not here, otherwise he'll be clapping for you from the back. Mr. Kachru?
I would go 50 years back. I joined ITDC, and I think it was the best learning ground
True.
I've seen in my life.
And if I'm correct, Mr. Chatwal is also from...
Puneet is from ITDC. Anuraag is from ITDC. I think it was
I think you guys, yeah.
a great training ground.
Great training ground, I agree. All right, let's see. Where do you see? How has your leadership style changed in the last decade? Anuraag, you've been now with Leela how many years?
6 years now with
6
the
years.
Leela.
So
Yeah.
they're getting there. How has your leadership style changed?
I think I've become a better listener. My team may not agree, but I like to believe that I've become a better
They're laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kiran,
that's what I
they're
said. They won't believe they're sitting in the front row, yeah. Plus, also, I also recognize that how important it is and how relevant it is to stay relevant. So, the learning agility, the ability to always try to upgrade and upskill, that's a part of my new learnings.
Right. Kiran, how about you?
I think I've become more understanding, patient, and accepting. Yeah.
I think those were traits that you had back then when we were together, but...
Thank you. I'll take that.
Ajay, how about you?
More focused on outcome rather than individual, rather than personality.
Right, right. Mr. Kachru?
Titles any longer don't make you a leader. There was a time, 30, 40 years back, if you had a title, you were considered a leader, you were considered the decision maker. Now it's more character and what actions you take in your life.
Right.
I think this is the biggest change, and then a leader has to be a coach. And I think as long as you do that, you're there.
Right. I think I'll take this question. It has 3 people supporting it. If you had to kill one tradition in the hospitality that everyone still blindly follows, what would that be? I think I know which one we should kill, but Ajay?
Follow the leader.
No, but if you had to, you want to kill the leader?
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader.
The tradition.
I heard, this.
The tradition of follow the leader blindly.
Okay, so you want to kill the tradition of follow the leader blindly. So you're telling your audience here and your team that they should not be following.
They should think about it.
They should think about it. Okay, Ajay?
Not blindly.
Sorry. Anuraag?
I think the concept of amenities that needs to be thought through. There's a tradition, there is a food basket that is sent to every room, there are chocolates that are placed in every room. Most hotels do it, including us, but that's something that needs to be rethought of and reprogrammed.
Mr. Kachru?
I think loyalty has to be earned. It's not to be taken for granted.
Right. How about you, Kiran?
I would go with Ajay's response with one tradition is this blind reverence or just the hierarchical respect that leaders expect, and when you're growing up in the industry, titles more than anything else. Yeah,
Right,
drop
right.
that, yeah.
All right. Thank you
Titles
so
don't
much.
matter now.
They don't matter.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank
It was
you.
great having you on stage.
Thank you,
Thank
Manav.
you to
Thank
share
you
your
for-
perspective and being great sport. Thank you.
Good fun.
Oh,
They want us to.
I'm carrying my...
Now we will have the, thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks. Now we'll have the GM of the Year award. So please don't walk away because let's honor the future leaders. Some of them will be here in the future sitting on the hot seat. So
May I also please invite Mr. Vaibhav Singh to join us on stage and Siddharth Safkar.